What exactly is RankBrain? RankBrain is basically the new algorithm that is the Hummingbird algorithm plus AI. And basically, Hummingbird ranks entities by building knowledge graphs. So when it looks at a site, Hummingbird profiles that site out, all the pages, and looking at all the social activity and everything, and it builds a knowledge graph out of a profile of the site. Sorry, it builds a knowledge graph, uh, uh, and out of the site, and it creates like an entity database. As more and more signals come in from different areas, so it sort of starts making like a work of art out of the site. So it reads your site. It looks at all the schema tags. It looks at various other social signals and backlinks and everything, and it sort of makes a database out of it. Um, Hummingbird will affected 90% of search queries when it was released, and basically Hummingbird also addresses, so one of the key factors is the naturally spoken queries. Sorry. So Google has got really good at answering those long tail queries where people just like speak in as though you were talking into a computer, and it would give you the answer. So RankBrain is working with Hummingbird on that, and RankBrain tracks your searches. It tracks what result you click on. It's tracking the way you visit a website, how you interact with the site, whether you're clicking around that site. It checks your search termination, whether that site was able to serve the intent of your search, or you went back and you bounced back, and then you went to another result and clicked that result and went to that site, and that site was able to terminate your search query, your intent. That would demote your ranking a little bit, and the other person would get promoted because they were able to satisfy the user. So it does what Hummingbird was doing a lot, but with all these additional elements, which is like tracking user behavior, and which is like a huge component right now of the whole deep learning and the AI. They needed humans. They RankBrain and the Google algorithm is now using humans. It's being trained by actual users, right? Because I mean, what is a better way of checking if content is good for other users or not? You track how users interact with the content, right? That's a very basic thing, because you're serving that user. So if 100 other people or 1,000 other people interact with a piece of content in a positive manner, then that's probably because the content was good. And so you can tell the 101st person that, yeah, this content is good. So that's, I'm just trying to explain it in a nutshell because you may not come from the tech background. Um, so just an example of tracking user behavior is if somebody does a brand search, right, and your site shows up, and they actually click on that result, then your site is going to get boosted more for that brand search. So if your brand was so that's how you sort of this is just an example, and the more the click through rates increase, the better your ranking goes for a brand search. So you got to make sure that your brand searches are happening and that your site is ranking number one for a brand search. And if it's not, and if it's down below, but people recognize, hey, that's the brand I'm looking for, and they click on the result number 3, then that result is going to gradually get bumped up. And the RankBrain and Hummingbird work on no, do, and go queries. There are 3 types of queries. No queries are like knowledge queries, where the search query is the person wants to know something or is asking a question. He's looking for information by asking a sort of question. He's in the knowledge phase. And then there's just the do queries, where he wants to do a particular thing, like he wants to carry out something, like maybe buy something. So it could be like buy best drone or buy DJI Phantom. That's like a do query. He wants to do that. He wants to buy something, and then that's the query. That's just one example of a do query. Then there's the go queries, where he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he knows exactly where he wants to go. So he just types in Amazon or he just types in Amazon.com, or so he types in the site name and or the destination, and that's a Go query. And 15% of daily queries. This is fantastic. 15% of daily queries are never before seen queries, but that amounts to about 500 million daily search queries. That's crazy. Google has never seen 500 million daily queries before in its, it's never seen these queries, but it's still able to search. It's able to give a result that's relevant, that's highly relevant, and that's efficient. That's a marvelous feat. That's just mind blowing, because it's like people ask all kinds of stuff that tells you something about humanity also. Like, people are searching for all kinds of stuff in all different word phrases and combinations, and people have all these things going on and everything, but Google is able to satisfy them, and that's what's keeping it alive, and that's what's keeping it on the top and effective. RankBrain ran silently for over a year. I mentioned that, and it's been gathering data since early 2015, and it goes on. I think they ran it for about a year and a half. Nobody knows the exact time because of the seed data it needed, and now, of course, everyone knows about it. But so that's RankBrain, and let's move on to the next slide.